Kal-El barely made it off Krypton before the planet exploded, and today we see his journey to Earth and how he first met his adoptive parents, Martha and Jonathan Kent. Welcome to the Comicstorian Complete Story Series, where you get audio dramas of your favorite comic books, helping you decide what to go out and add to your collection. Today is the epilogue to The Last Dust of Krypton, the first arc in Jason Aaron's Absolute Superman with issue number 6. I hope you enjoy. Deep space, 6 years ago. The last ship of Krypton flies through the dark vastness of the stars. On board, Kal-El huddles in fear, but Sol continues to scan, reaching out with his sensors and searching for a planet to land on with his young charge. 8 days go by, and Kal is alone. 8 weeks pass, still no sign of life. 8 months. The young boy is going crazy with loneliness. 17 months, 14 days, and Kal is curled up in a ball on the deck of his small ship. Sol has become concerned. His only job is to keep Kal safe. Kal-El, you have not consumed your daily allotment of rehydrated protein slurry, the AI tells him. But Kal shakes his head. He doesn't care. Slowly, he sits up and stares out into the darkness of space. We've traveled 9 million light years, and how many habitable worlds have we found? He demands. Sol pauses for a long time before finally answering. 0, Kal. The answer is 0, the AI tells him. Kal nods. He bangs his hands on the viewpoint once. His anger rose before finally fading away. You can keep going if you want, but just let me out. You did your best. Don't worry about me. Just drop me off here, Kal whispers. He points to an approaching system. Right in that big yellow sun, he sighs. But Sol can't do that. He reminds Kal that his sole purpose is to protect Kal-El. But Kal isn't listening. He is still staring at the yellow sun. But suddenly, his body starts to feel warm, and his eyes begin to glow. Sol, why is it so hot in here all of a sudden? I'm burning up, Kal says as fear begins to creep into his voice. Turn around! Get us away from that star! Kal gasps, but a chime suddenly sounds. Wait, life-sustaining world detected, Sol suddenly says, aiming the craft for a blue world before them. But heat begins to radiate from Kal's eyes as he screams in pain, and the ship begins to break up as it enters the atmosphere. Far below, Martha and John Kent look up from their dried cornfield in Kansas. Damn, weatherman said there'd be rain, Martha sighs, but John shakes his head and clutches at their dying crop. Must be nice to have a job where you get to be wrong more times than not, he points out. Martha nods her head and looks to her husband, reminding him that the Lazarus Corporation has drones that can alter the weather over their fields, and explains that someone in town saw them. But John shakes his head. Martha, we both know such a thing ain't possible, he tells her. But he looks around and ponders whether it's true, whether Lazarus really can do the things rumors say. If it is true, what hope have we got of winning against something like that? He whispers. But suddenly, there is a roar from the sky, and a great fireball slams into the field by their house. Kal steps from the flames, unharmed, but yelling as if every cell in his body is going into overload. But he can still hear Sol's voice, as the red sand-shaped AI unfolds as the ship wraps around him protectively. Kal-El, I regret to inform you that my energy cells are quite depleted. I must power down for, breathe, Sol says softly before fading away. Kal looks up as 2 people approach. He holds out a hand and calls for help, but John and Martha don't understand what the young boy is saying. Finally, the flames fade and Kal collapses to the ground. Martha finally rushes forward, shocked by this strange visitor. Where did his ship go? It's like he absorbed it, she gasps. John doesn't like it though, thinking that they should call for the police. But Martha shakes her head, reminding him that minutes ago they were asking for a miracle. He was covered in flames, but now he's not even harmed. Don't you know an angel when you see one? She asks softly. And so, the Kents tried to take care of the boy. His body burned with a fever for days. He would thrash in his sleep as he recovered, his limbs so powerful that he would break the bed with one swing. One night, they found him drifting in the air, floating over the bed. Another day, red beams of heat shot from his eyes when he awoke from a nightmare, only to once more pass out again. Eventually, his body would calm. The fever would go away, and Cal slept peacefully. John found Martha sitting by the visitor's bedside. "Martha, we can't keep him here. If we do, he's gonna be the death of us. You know that, right?" John asks. But Martha shakes her head. She can sense that the boy is confused and suffering. "He's been through something awful to get here. You can tell," she whispers. She looks back at her husband, reminding him that they've lost everything. "But maybe we can still save him," she says quietly. Suddenly, Cal's eyes open and he launches from the bed in the blink of an eye. Jonathan jumps to protect Martha as Cal smashes through the bedroom wall and runs out into the world, streaking across the field fast enough to tear plants from the ground. He suddenly stops and stares at this strange world around him. He is alone, and Soul doesn't speak to him. Cal doesn't know it, but Soul has been quiet for weeks. But somehow, as Cal stared out into the fields of this new world, he could sense that he had found his new home. 2 weeks later, the Kents still can't understand Cal's speech, but he still aids them, using his incredible strength to help them around the farm. John is trying to fix a tractor enough to get it started and drive it into the barn, but Cal simply picks it up. "Heavens, don't reckon I'll ever get used to that," John whispers as he watches the boy carry the tractor over his head with one hand. Cal has become like a son to them in the short time, and though neither of them know it, both John and Martha have thanked him for saving them both. One day, Martha looks up at Cal, who smiles at her. "I know you came here searching for something. Might just be it's the same thing we was looking for too, and I just hope, well, I hope we can find it together," she tells him. Another day, Cal is working on the tractor, remembering what his mother taught him about listening to the engine, when suddenly, the symbol on his chest begins to glow. "Cal?" Soul suddenly says as Cal looks down at it in shock. "Apologies. My recharging took much longer than I anticipated. Cal, be warned. I fear this system's yellow sun may supercharge your Kryptonian cells in wildly unexpected ways," Soul warns. Cal cocks an eyebrow at his suit's words. "You don't say," he whispers. He stands up as he feels Soul's system surging as his suit forms around him. "Never mind that for now, Soul. I need you to download whatever language these people speak," Cal tells him. In moments, he is walking towards the farmhouse's front porch, where the Kents are sitting. Cal smiles at them. "Hello, my name is Kal-El. I fixed your tractor," he tells them in his first attempt at the new language. The Kents stare at him in shock for a moment. "My God," John whispers, but Martha just smiles. "Kal-El, such a lovely name. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Kal-El," she says as they both step down to shake the boy's hand and introduce themselves. "I'm Martha Kent, and this is my husband, Jonathan." "Cal, I detected some manner of remote drones operating in the skies above, with apparent weather-influencing capabilities. I took the liberty of disabling them," Soul reports. The Kents look on in shock as the drones drop out of the sky and slam into the field around them. Moments later, thunder rumbles overhead and lightning cracks. "Hello, Kents," Cal says softly as rain begins to fall down all around them. But the Kents don't know that someone from Lazarus has come to investigate the missing drones and reported him for terrorist activity and immigration violation. The rain fell for 3 days, and though this brought happiness to the Kent farm, it was not to last. The 4th day saw the arrival of the Peacekeeper unit. Tanks and helicopters churned up the mud as the squadron of Peacekeepers step up to forcibly pull Cal from the Kent's home. Martha tries to reason with them, and Jonathan steps up to defend his wife. But one of the soldiers moves in and punches him across the jaw, knocking him to the ground. "The boy's got no ID and no work permit. We're taking him in for processing," the soldiers shout as 2 of the soldiers are struggling to put Cal in the back of the truck. "Lil fella's stronger than he looks," one of them grunts as they slam Cal's head into the truck. "Cal, I cannot allow you to be taken by these men," Soul suddenly says, lashing out with his abilities to knock the soldiers aside. Cal looks in fear and surprise, unsure why the Peacekeepers are attacking him. "Talk to them. Tell them who we are. Tell them about Krypton," Cal says to Soul as he shoves one of the tanks away with ease. "We do not belong here. My mission is to protect you," Soul tells him. Cal moves to help the Kents, but they both shake their heads. "Son, please, go," John and Martha whisper. Tears fill Cal's eyes as he realizes he's going to lose them. But he suddenly leaps up into the air and flies away. He would stay on the move, going from town to town, seeing this new world, and slowly realizing that he might not be able to save it, that it might end, just like Krypton. Present day. Agent Lois Lane has tracked Superman's movements. She arrives at the Smallville Senior Living Facility and flashes her badge. "I'm looking for Martha Kent. Is she a resident here?" "You might say, I'm a friend of the family," she tells the receptionist. Meanwhile, at a Lazarus Corp research center in the Nevada desert, someone else is tracking Agent Lane's movements. Brainiac smiles as he watches the camera feed. Agent Lane is quite the investigator. She's barely required any coaxing on my part. Just a nudge, really. Brainiac says to his benefactor over the other feed, the one that shows him Lazarus headquarters. "You deliver what you have promised me, and you ensure your place in the world that is coming," the leader of Lazarus says as he steps from the pool. His followers step forward with robes and a towel as the magic liquid falls away. The androids raise their hands in praise as Ra's al Ghul stands before them. "Salvation is close at hand for billions upon billions, once the Superman kneels at the feet of his holy father, Ra's al Ghul," the immortal shouts. And that concludes the first arc of Absolute Superman, the origin of Kal-El on Krypton and in Kansas, as well as the reveal of the leader of the Lazarus Corp, Ra's al Ghul. What did you think of today's video and this run as a whole so far? I found it to be quite enjoyable, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notifications when new videos go live. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.